back. Will Worsham is joining me now for this week's Speaking Legal segment. Welcome back. Good to see you as always.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, you've got a question. I mean, this is a chance for our viewers to send you questions.
Right.
And you have one for us now, all right?
Yes.
All right, here it is. My husband passed on January 12th, 2014. I'm having to turn in both cars because I cannot afford the payments. Is there any way, if I file bankruptcy, that I can keep a car? I really need one.
Right. Now, what she means is by turning the cars in is turning them back to the bank or the finance company. Because when you buy a car, if you finance that car, the lending agency, whether it be a bank or some other finance company, they take a security interest in the car so that if you don't make the payments, they can repossess the car. So she's talking about turning them back into that company. So we need to solve her problem. Can she keep a car?
Right.
Bankruptcy might allow her to do that. There might be some other ways to do that. But we can talk about bankruptcy first. As we've talked about before, there's two different types.
Two different kinds.
Right. A Chapter 13 would allow her to keep the assets that she has in place, but that might not be the best solution. A Chapter 7 might work out as well. If she lets one of the cars go back to the bank, then she may have enough money to make the payment on the remaining car.
Is the 7 where you set up scheduled payments?
No, actually, that's the 13.
Okay,
the
that's
13 is where you
okay.
set up the payments.
Right.
The 7 is where you dispose of all of the assets to try to pay back the debt, so you get a fresh start, start over, and you don't have to make payments to debts over a period of time before they're discharged.
Okay.
It's a discharge at the end of the case in a few months, hopefully, when we get to that point.
Right.
But because cars are secured, the creditor has a right to take their property back to
regardless.
Okay. So what would have to happen is we'd have to do a bankruptcy, maybe give one of the cars back, discharge any of the remaining debt that might be on that car, because most people are upside down in their cars, owe more than they're worth, and then on the remaining car, we would have to reaffirm the debt on the car and say, no, I'm going to go ahead and pay the debt on this car so that you can keep the car.
What are the chances, though, of a creditor saying, you've just declared bankruptcy and now you want to buy this car from me?
Well, they want to get paid. I mean, that's the point. So, and people do that all the time with their houses when they file a bankruptcy because they still owe the mortgage, but you go back to your mortgage company, reaffirm the debt after you file the bankruptcy so that you're still obligated to make that debt. And you can do the same thing with a car. Also, Missouri, anytime anybody files bankruptcy, as do all states, you have what are called exemptions to collections or exemptions in bankruptcy. One of those is for an automobile. It's only $3,000, but that covers any equity in the car.
Okay.
So if she did have a little bit of equity in the car, if it was less than $3,000, that would be covered by the exemption. And if it was more than that, there might be a way to negotiate with the bankruptcy trustee in order to maybe cash that part out and still get to keep that car.
Okay, there was a certain point in your explanation where my mind went click, just like that. This is definitely something you need to speak to an attorney about.
Right. It's a complicated matter. And really, from the question, we don't have quite enough information to really delve into it. There would be a lot of questions we'd have to ask to get to the right answer. There might be a way to solve this problem without a bankruptcy at all. We just get in and maybe talk about some debt restructuring, rearranging some things, and get somewhere comfortable. Of course, this...
Well, what I was going to ask, we've got about 30 seconds. This may be a topic we have to delve into a little bit later, but is there any way this could have been avoided in the first place?
Well, yeah, I would hope so, through a little bit of estate planning on the part of the husband who's now passed, with maybe some life insurance or maybe some other arrangements. This is a situation that might be able to have been avoided. So, you know, estate planning is something a lot of people put off and put off and put off, but it's something that we really need to get taken care of as soon as possible.
All right. Well, we may talk a little bit about more of that in the future. If you have a question like that or any other legal question you want to ask Will, just email wworsham@color10.com and we'll answer it right here on the show. Will, always good to see you. Thank you.
You too, Tom.
All right. We will stick around because we're going to be back with more Ozarks Live right after this.